It's good to be with you. Welcome to Class Outside. Today, we're going to learn how to set up and run the WebXR 3D model viewer. We will need a VR headset and a Unity project set up to export via WebXR. We'll also need the WebXR 3D model viewer project available on GitHub. And to run this project, we will need the Node.js and OpenSSL softwares installed. I will also use the code editor Visual Studio Code to edit the settings and run the project. And last, we'll need a 3D model in a GLB format for testing. I have linked the downloads and other helpful videos below in the description. Let's go to the GitHub link and download the project. Once downloaded, extract the zip. Now, let's open VS Code and open to the front-end folder. In a terminal, type npm install. This will download the libraries needed by our project to run. Then, change the terminal window to point at the keys folder. On Windows, we can use cd for change directory, then keys. And now we'll run this OpenSSL command. This will generate the key and certificate, which are both needed for the project to use HTTPS and run in WebXR. It will ask you a variety of questions. For testing purposes, we can leave these blank. The certificates generated are called self-signed certificates. They're usually fine when running on trusted local networks. However, they can be insecure and leave you vulnerable if used on the internet or a public network. Once created, move back to the front-end folder. On Windows, we can do this with cd ... Next, we need to open the ipconfig.js file. Here we must write the IP address and port we intend the media service or backend to run on. Another command is provided below to find the local IP address for a Windows machine. I will be running the backend on the same machine, so in VS Code I can go to this little arrow and open a new command prompt window. In that window, I will run the command. Sometimes multiple values will show up. I usually start by trying the first one. Let's add this to the backend IP address file. And the backend port is set to 3001 by default. If you change the backend port later, you will have to update this as well. Save the file. Then let's go back to the PowerShell terminal seen on the right. And now we'll run npm run dev. This should start our front end. Open a new VS Code window and open it to the media service. Again, we will want to run npm install, and then go into the keys folder and run the OpenSSL command. And point the terminal at the media service folder again. Now, let's open the appconfig.js file for the media service, and make sure the port is what we want it to be, and that it matches what we had in the front end. Next, let's update starting folder path. This will be the base folder, or the folder that the Explorer will be able to see, as well as any folders inside of it. I'll set this to downloads folder for our demonstration. You may need to use double slashes, as a single slash character is sometimes read as a command or escape character when within a string of quotes. Then save, and run node server.js. This will start the media service. Now our front end and back end media service are both set up. Let's download a GLB file to test with. We can use this mushroom available at fab.com. Download this and extract it. Now let's set up our Unity project. I will be continuing from a project very similar to one set up in another video linked below. This was set up with the WebXR exporter by dpanther. Let's install GLTfast. This package helps with loading GLB files in Unity. Go to Window Package Manager. In the window, click the plus and add by name, and provide this name, which is also found in the description. Once imported, we can open a File Explorer window to the project we downloaded from GitHub. In the Unity Files folder, we will see a Unity package. Let's drag that into the Unity project folder and import all. After this, we may notice some console errors. This package relies on some features found in downloaded samples. Let's open Package Manager again and import or re-import the related samples that we see in the console. After everything's re-imported, let's drag the GLB Explorer prefab into our scene. We can find this in the Project tab under Assets, Prefabs to export. Drag the prefab into the scene and place it wherever you'd like. Okay, now let's build the project. We'll build it to the front end's build output folder. Now, let's load the project in our headset. I will be testing with a Meta Quest 2 over a link cable. This process should be similar for most headsets and can be used without Quest Link over a network, though performance may vary. Currently, I am testing with Google Chrome for a web browser. Other browsers like Firefox and Edge should support this as well. Sometimes you may need to check that the browser has these features enabled. In Chrome, this can be checked by going to chrome://flags in the address bar and checking for WebXR flags. With the headset plugged in and running over MetaQuest Link, I will first browse to the backend address. This must be done to tell our browser to accept the self-signed certificate we made earlier. Then I will move to the front-end website and do the same. Once loaded, I should see the option to select and load in virtual reality. I will click on that. And now we're loaded in. Let's look at the Explorer window, and let's navigate through the folders to our GLB file. And let's click on it. And after a moment, it loads on our table. In some cases, the texture may be missing on the mesh. This occurs when specific shaders aren't made available in Unity. To fix this, try importing the troublesome mesh into the Unity scene. And then save your scene, and go to Edit, Project Settings, Graphics, and click Save to Asset. Then increase the preloaded shaders section by 1, and drag that shader variant file we just saved into the new section. And then remove the mesh from the scene and perform another build. This allows some of the shader information necessary for the mesh to be available when Unity builds for WebXR. Let's reload. And try again. And look at that, it loads the textures. We can pick up the model, we can bring it closer. If we grab it with 2 hands, we can even stretch it to see the details or shrink it to make it smaller. Look at that. Together, we've set up a model viewer in WebXR. Please let me know down in the comments what you thought of this video. Have a great day and thank you for attending class outside.